Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're just going to do a short video today where I'm going to conclude basically my thoughts about S by Silent Siren. Really good album actually, lots of things to say about it. Now obviously we've done a track by track listen through. If you haven't seen that yet, then feel free to go back. There's a link in the description below which will take you to a playlist of basically all of the videos that make up that listen through. We did it track by track, of course. Now I must say that my feelings about this one, just to start, I'll talk about basically how I felt first going into Silent Siren. If you didn't know, the first song I heard wasn't from this album, it's Fujiyama Disco, and I listened to that solely because I'd seen so many adverts for Silent Siren around Japan, and they were those sorts of adverts that whenever I saw them here, they looked a little bit on the, not the band, but the style of how everything was done. It looked a bit cheesy, and I thought either they're extremely fun or probably they're one of those cheesy mass-produced bands. But I thought I'm going to give them a chance anyway. And I was blown away virtually from the first few seconds of Fujiyama Disco just by the amount of detail in how they played, the fact that they were playing their own instruments, and just the whole delivery was a mixture of class and joy, and that to me was fantastic. So I thought the chance I get to actually sit and listen through a Silent Siren album would be brilliant. So many of their singles later, this is the one we jumped in on. Now my feelings here, I know that a lot of my favourite Silent Siren songs are not on this album, but have to admit, starting off, if we just quickly look at the track by track on this, Cherry Bomb is an incredibly catchy song. Even though I think they have got catchy, it is incredibly catchy and it's a great way to start an album. Then obviously you had the next album, basically the name translates as Autumn Night, or is it? No, it's August Night, isn't it? Yeah, Hachi gets it. August Night. That was more of a sort of generic single, but it's still a really catchy song and lots of feeling in it. Then you have Milk Boy, which was one of my personal favourites from this album. I really like the fact that it was throwing so much at the wall and it all seemed to stick. You know, all these sort of crazy backbeat rhythms, changes to the tone, changes to the melody. It kind of went everywhere, and yet wherever it went, it was followable, enjoyable. Just, you know, that was a really good song. And then from there, Happy Marry, obviously, that's probably the most sugary song on this very sugary album. But it's nice, you know, it's a good song. It doesn't devolve into something ridiculously soppy. It has a sort of just that joy that is infectious in all of their music. And from there, we had stuff like Love Install. I know from the comments, a lot of you guys really liked Love Install, which is great because we've got a lot of much hard rock fans on this channel as well as pop fans. And a lot of them really enjoyed that song as well, and I did think it was a great crossover. It showed a sort of a harder edge to Silent Siren without, you know, losing their love for detail and, you know, sort of, if you like, those colourful, sparkly pop elements that actually do make a song really engaging and enjoyable a lot of the time. Then we had kind of a sort of a simpler element to the album then, where we had Hikari, Yoshida-san, Reila. These were kind of much more simple songs, but it made a nice little plateau in the middle of the album where things kind of calmed down a bit. Alarm, really great. Again, another fairly calm song, but, you know, lots of detail in there. I should point out, actually, with Yoshida-san, I went back and I checked the lyrics. I think they said this in a video just before this one. I went back and I checked the lyrics because my only issue with Yoshida-san at the time really was twofold. One was it was a bit musically simple, considering it was one of their faster, well, I say one of their faster songs, and I usually expect their fast songs to be quite detailed musically, and it wasn't so detailed. That I kind of I maintain that, but I kind of let that off the hook a bit when you consider so many other songs like Milk Boy on the album. I mean, I guess if they'd made it too kinetic, it would have, Yoshida-san might have ended up sounding a bit like Milk Boy. So yeah, okay, the fact it was more straight rock but being delivered fast was fine, but I actually said at the time that I wasn't too happy with the fact, or at least it didn't really occur to me to be preferable, that the lyrics in the hook was so fast it almost felt like it couldn't be catchy. But then I went back and actually checked what the lyrics were about, and I was really blown away. It's kind of like a song about anxiety, and the lyrics are absolutely beautiful when you see the translation to them, and it suddenly all made sense. So I've got to admit, although we do often look on this channel at how a song, a Japanese song, appeals to someone from a foreign audience, and although I have, you know, some basic Japanese conversational skill, I can't really pick up songs on the fly. So I try to view it from that perspective, you know, trying to give Japanese music to the rest of the world. But it is amazing sometimes when you hear some of the fantastic details that are like lurking inside a song. Then again, I have come across ones where you thought, oh, that's a really meaningful song. You check out the lyrics and the lyrics mean nothing. So it can go both ways. But yeah, Yoshida sounds actually much better than I gave it credit for. Then we had Nukumo, great song. Cafe, real good sing-along one. Imagine that being great live. Slow Morning was just fantastic musicianship, and just like this interplay between the instruments was just a beautiful arrangement. It kind of almost felt jazz-like. It was so good. And Secret Base was just a fantastic ending. So the album has a mountain of contrast on it. I mean, I can accept for someone who perhaps is not so much into this style of music that they might hear every song, and the thing that might come across the grander scale of the whole album is that everything kind of sounds poppy. To maybe a hard rock fan, that I can understand that. I think, okay, everything sounds a bit poppy, everything kind of sounds a bit bright, keyboardy, so you got like little synth and piano sounds in. Nothing just sounds bare bones raw on it. I can see why someone might feel that way, and if you kind of feel that way about all the songs, you might take in a bit of joy from some of them, but as a general, this album's probably not going to be for you. However, if you have got a pop sensibility, then I think that you would struggle to leave without at least one song really appealing to you. And if you're if you're someone who's got an open mind to, well, you know, an open taste to different types of pop music as well, then I think this album is just a fantastic journey throughout. One of the big factors on it is, whereas with some albums the temptation is to do, if you like, a bit of a curve to things. You know, some albums, they start loud, go quiet, get loud at the end, or, you know, they go from a curve all the way from sort of big hitters at the beginning all the way down to ballads at the end. This album really juggles things up. It's very brave in the fact that it goes a lot of the time from quiet to loud or slow to fast in sudden jumps, which is clearly them confident to keep you on your toes, confident to keep things varied and not to get too much into any particular lull. Like I said, there's that 3-track thing, sort of Hikari, Yoshida-san and Rayla in the middle, where it kind of felt like they were perhaps musically the least detailed songs on the album, and that was maybe perhaps why they were put into the middle, but that was really just me being a bit of a critical nitpick, as just something, as someone who really likes to pick out all the details, something that I perhaps noticed. But even then, you know, you're looking at this, you've got stuff like, I mean, Happy Mary comes right between Milk Boy and Love Install. You've got you've got, well, actually there's quite a lot of this, isn't there? I mean, you've got Hikari, then like I say, Yoshida-san, just all around there. I mean, pretty much any two songs you can pick, they're completely different from one track to the next for the best part. So I keep on turning around to grab the album and going back. I should keep it in front of me, but I've got something else on the table in front of me which you can't see, which is the next thing I'm going to review. Ignore that, let's get back to the review. So yeah, it was an album that just kept you on your toes, kept you interested, and in the context of what you can do with a band like this, it's great. Like I say, the only real deal breakers I can see about this album really are the things where if you don't like them, then you just were never going to really like this band at all. I do understand that although I like the voice of the lead singer from Silent Siren, I understand that some people, they don't like it because she's got quite a higher voice, it's a much thinner voice, that doesn't appeal to everyone. So I can see if you don't like that, you're not really going to like this album. If you don't particularly like stuff that has a bit more of a sugary feel to it, if that can give you a bit of a musical taste diabetes, then this is not going to be your album. If, however, you can get into their sound, if their sound doesn't alienate you, then I think this is really a great complete album. The interesting thing is though, let's circle back around to what I said initially, this doesn't actually contain a few of my favourite songs by Silent Siren. They're not on here. And actually, if we look at the songs that are singles on this, I actually later found out, I need to go back and check out the video, I haven't seen it, but Yoshida-san has got a video, and since I found out the lyrics are great, I'll be interested to check that out. But I wouldn't consider that a strong single. August Night, that's a single. Like I say, I kind of get it, but I don't consider that to be like, wow, catchy radio stuff. Alarm, again, really good song. Don't really think of it as, wow, it's a big single. In fact, Cherry Bomb is the only one of the, I believe, 4 singles off this where I go, okay, yeah, that I can see that charting. And that's, like I say, no disrespect to the other songs, because this is a great album and I really enjoy it. But it's not, to me, it's not like one that seems to be playing to be the big radio charting, you know, Oricon top 10 style album. That doesn't seem to be what it's aiming so much for. So I am interested, because I'm really looking forward to checking out more Silent Siren albums in the future on our sort of track by track listen through system that we're doing now. I'm interested to maybe see one of the ones like their latest album 31313, which has got some real singles on it, you know, some real catchy stuff on there I already know. Considering that, I'm interested to see, is that as complete an album? Because if this is what they can do with an album that, like I say, doesn't feel like a big charter, Incidentally, I do know the album itself actually charted extremely well. I think it's actually their best charting album, but the singles I don't believe were as strong on their own merit. But considering that fact, I would, I'd really like to see what happens in contrast on their other albums. But my general feeling from this is quite a simple one. I think it's an album awash with different things. I think anyone who can stomach the sound, who can get into that particular sound, should listen to it, because I think you'll enjoy it. I think if you're a musician and you don't usually listen to pop, but you want to hear some pop that actually has musicianship in it, this is a great place to start. I think it is a good sort of crossover album for maybe people who are into harder stuff, who can, just about get into the sound. I think it will give them something as an interesting contrast to their usual taste in music. If you're a pop fan, I think it's a great little cornucopia of treats. It's just a good one to listen to as a general. And like I say, if you're lucky enough to be into their sound anyway, I think you're going to enjoy the whole album as a curve. If not, I'm pretty sure that give it one listen through and you'll find at least 1 or 2 tracks that you're going to say, I'll keep that for a playlist. That was pretty good. So that's my final thoughts on S by Silent Siren. I won't turn around, I'm just going to... There it is. Wrong way. There it is. Great stuff. I wholeheartedly recommend it to pop fans, and I recommend giving it a try to anyone who just likes a good musicianship on their albums and is open to a bit of variation. So for now, from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to go back and check any of our other videos out, either about Silent Siren, this album, their singles, other artists, anything. You do what you want, but we hope to see you again here soon. And for now, from Japan, ciao ciao.